Welcome to the Plap Cast.
Welcome to the Plap Cast, everybody. So this is our first episode, so we're going to be doing introductions. I am Manda, and then we have our other hosts, Rui and Ruin. They are writers for some of your favorite audios. Guys, do you want to share a little bit about yourself and how you came to be in this very sexy space?
Rui, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I can kick it off.
Okay.
So I started out in the bookish side of everything. I was reviewing books and audiobooks, a lot of them, and was kind of introduced to audio erotica through B.B. Easton and The Devil of Dublin. When they kind of joined the party over on Quinn, I kind of followed suit, started listening, and after a few months, I was heavily into like the romance novels. I was always reading smut, and I was like, I kind of have some ideas for this. And so I approached Adrian with kind of a harebrained hide and seek idea, which ended up being the first in the Caught series, and he loved it. So I ended up writing that, and that was my very first script. And it's just been chaos ever since.
That is awesome. So did you do the whole Caught series, or was it just the first episode?
It's only 2 audios, but I wrote both of those. Yes.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I love both of those. They're both of my favorites. That's why when I first saw your name pop up, I was like, oh my gosh, I know you from somewhere.
I know you. I don't know how I know you, but I know you.
Yes. Ruin, what about you? How did you get started in this space?
I didn't really start from the bookish side of things. I had a friend who was a mutual friend of mine and Atlas's before he was known as Atlas. And I had written a little like novel thing and was looking for voice actors to potentially voice these characters I had. And I was recommended him, even though he's a NSFW voice actor. This mutual friend did not think about that before he recommended him. And so I, hit Atlas up basically like, hey, I wrote this thing, like, what do you charge? What's your hourly rate? And he was like, well, first of all, I'm NSFW, but I won't say no, but these are my rates. And I was like, oh, you're not an amateur. These are established prices. I was used to working with like more indie amateur kind of voice actors, which no hate to him, obviously. Love Atlas. He just has much more experience than I was used to working with. And kind of started asking him like, oh, what do you do? Stuff like that. And he was like, I do NSFW audios on Patreon. And at that time, he still worked under Silky Whisper. And I was like, oh, like, can I have an example? Because obviously, I've been on Reddit. Everyone's been on Reddit. And I was thinking, like, rambles or something along those lines. I believe he sent me the Silky Whisper link to Patreon and kind of see what they got. And I was like, okay. So I did it to some of them and was like, man, they're just not making him as like mean and or dominant as I feel like he could do. And I didn't know this dude at all. So I was like, I feel like I feel like with like a voice like his, I was like, you could be meaner. I know you could be meaner. So I pitched him a script, and he liked the audition script quite a lot, and then he ended up using Hands-on Learning as my debut script for him on Quinn, and everyone ate it up.
That was my.
They all loved it.
That was my first Atlas audio as well. That was how I came to be in your guys's face. For context, we all come from this Stargazers Discord, so we are all Stargazers, so we're all Atlas fans and listeners. But we decided to branch out and start interviewing some audio erotica creators and script writers and pretty much anyone that's involved in the space, editors and the like.
Behind the scenes of it all.
Yes, just like the behind the scenes of everything. I'm just an artist, so like I'm not really involved in this space.
The mother of Plappy.
Yes, the mother of Plappy. Which is a whole inside joke in itself. But as far as inspiration goes, where do you two draw inspiration? Brewy, I know you also just wrote another script for Atlas for Halloween
I
for
did.
his spooky vampire script. So where do you draw your inspiration from? Do you like more fantasy scripts or do you like more realistic?
So my stuff is a little bit all over the place. I like a little bit of everything. A lot of my ideas are just kind of like I'll hear a line in a song or just something random and it'll like just kind of pop that light bulb and I'll be like, oh, that's a fun idea. Like My
What can I do now?
Nightingale. There's actually saw a line in an Alkaline Trio song
Oh, okay.
6 months ago that triggered an idea in my head of like, what if it was an audio from the point of view of a villain that was just kind of like, there's no coming back for him. Like, it is what it is. His life is done. But what if he wasn't actually the bad guy?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't really sound like it went that direction. Did it go that
No,
direction?
no.
It got
Initially, I was like, oh, I'm gonna make this guy like evil and he's gonna be so mean. And then I started writing it. I was like, or what if he's not? What if he's just really like
He's
yearny?
misunderstood. He's misunderstood. We can change
Yes.
him.
I can change him.
I can change him. No, that's
Yes.
definitely probably my favorite Atlas audio is the Nightingale. Perfect. I love a good story with my smut. I like a like a side of story.
I'm a sucker for vampires. I'm gonna be honest. I think that's why that's my favorite Atlas audio. Like, vampires? Yeah. Yes.
I had so much fun writing that one because I'm like finally getting to like dig into that really like heavy story with like lots of like yearning and like kind of emotion behind it. But then I was like, I can also make this really filthy.
Yeah, and you did.
You did a fantastic job.
It was filthy in all the best ways.
It was. It really was. So, are you writing a book as well? I heard rumors.
Yeah.
Where? Can I help you edit? Can I be a proofreader?
It is on the list. It is
on the list. It's on the very
list.
very long list.
If you guys would stop making me have more ideas to write.
Oh my goodness. So, Ruin, what about you? Where do you draw inspiration from? You mentioned that you also wrote a book at some point.
Oh,
as well.
yes. So I am more of a anonymous creator at this point. So I can't really tell you what I published on or who I published through. I can tell you that it was a fantasy novel. It was about 120,000 words. So the one that I already that one is already published. So for inspiration for audios, it's basically just like I'm like, what would I like to see if I knew that something was gonna go filthy anyway? So like for hands-on learning, I was trying to think of like, because I'm early 20s and I was trying to think of like, oh, like what are they doing right now? They're like in college. They're finishing up college probably. And I know my college had a study room that had a door and you could book it for hours. And I was like, oh, well, when I was doing tutoring, I know that you could lock the tutor room door, you could close the blinds, no one could come in there. So I was like, I wonder if anyone would like a script like that. I wonder if anyone would like a script like that. So I pitched the idea, I think, to Atlas, and I was like, hey, what do you think of this? And he was like, it could be hot. And I wrote it. And I remember when I first submitted it to him, neither of us were really a fan of it. And he swore up and down that it was bottomy, that the guy was acting bottomy. And he swears up and down to this day that the guy is like a switch, like he's switchy. And I'm like, he's not switchy. He's just not on top.
I can see it.
he's just a guy, you know what I mean? Like he was supposed to be written as some college kid who, he's used to getting whatever he wants, and this girl's like puts him on the floor and goes to town. There is an audio coming up on Friday that is by me. So the day that this episode will air will be the same day that it drops.
Okay.
Yeah, but I just try to think of like scenarios where like in my own head when I've been in similar situations, I like to daydream about, oh, what would happen if I was with a hot guy right now? Like, what direction would this go if I was with someone? And I write that into like a little story.
My goodness. How do you guys how do you guys pace your scripts? Because honestly, I gave writing a little bit of effort too, just for funsies. But how did you guys end up pacing your script so it's not like super rushed whenever you get to like the scene?
The scene.
'Cause the scene, like the main event, if you will, you know? Do you just make little marks that are like sound effects here, just add a little plapping right here?
I think, okay, so for mine, Atlas was like my sort of coach for when it came to formatting. So I format basically how exactly he wanted me to, which I've been told looks very like clean, but I always have like a cover page, which is like the title, who it's by, a character synopsis for both characters, so the listener, like who the listener is supposed to be, who the guy is supposed to be, a mic legend with a word per minute key, so like F is for far, S is for standard, C for close. If I put beat or take a beat, that means 1 second pause. If I say pause, then it's like just a breath. I put the setting, and then that's all on the first page. And the second page, I try to break them into at least 3 scenes, but often it becomes 3 to 5 scenes, especially if there's like a lot of foreplay. So like one of the scripts that I wrote for him that I'm not sure when you'll get has 5 scenes, and they're broke up. The scenes are like this. It goes scene 1, the game, scene 2, the start, scene 3, all about her, scene 4, the act, scene 5, the come down.
The act.
The act. So like obviously scene 4 is the scene, but I always separate the aftercare part from the act of it all, and then I separate the beforehand from it. So in a lot of my scripts, it's like the build up where they're talking, they're flirting, they're making out, and then I separate it when sex starts to just that, and then as soon as he finishes, I separate it into the next scene where it's like the come down, and then
the aftercare.
Yeah, and I color code my scripts, so like the SFX cues are highlighted and in parentheses and bolded and italicized, and then there's like line mic direction and like stuff between.
Very detailed.
I have a problem, but that's how I do mine. Rui, how do you do yours?
I don't do any of that.
Oh,
like I just write it on.
I do.
I just put it there.
So when I'm writing, usually I'll come up with an idea, and then after I have like a very high level idea of what I want to happen, I'll come up with like a few key lines just to kind of get the vibe going. And then from there, I just kind of outline how I want it to flow. A lot of times as I'm writing, that changes. Like with my Nightingale, initially he was supposed to be this evil, horrible person, but he ended up being a not evil person that was just very misunderstood.
So do you guys put like certain sound effects that you want? Because I know some
Yes,
script
I
writers will
do.
get like, okay, so yeah, they just get into the feel of it, and they're like, I want this sort of music playing. I want that, like
In depth. But yeah, I always make sure I put like if I want certain sounds, I'll make sure I put them in there. Like in the one I'm writing right now, there's a book being thrown and slid across the floor. So I was like very specific of like what I want for that sound.
I didn't know that other writers don't put SFX cues, or like it's not very common for them to put SFX cues. So I write like, so in the audio you're going to get on Friday, so today when they're hearing this, when it starts out, you're walking to the car and there's like light rain in the background. So I put like, oh, there's footsteps, 2 sets of footsteps on concrete, light rain, chatter from the background of the movie theater. And then you get to the car, you open the car door closes, stuff like that. I put when they're like starting to get into stuff, without fail every time. This is probably my, like, I don't know how else to put the sound effect of someone taking a guy's pants off, but there's always a belt buckle sound. I always write that in. Belt buckle being undone, pants unzipped. Without fail every single time. That's in the script, because I don't know how else to like give a sound effect clue that, oh, his pants are coming off.
His pants are coming off.
They're coming off. But I definitely, I feel like I get very specific, because whenever I'm writing, it's like the scene is playing out in my head as I'm writing it. Like my fingertips are just like the conduit of what I want done. Any little thing that I think of, I put down. Like, I sent a script to, I'm not going to say who I sent it to, actually. I sent a script to someone, and there's a scene where the listener is supposed to be braced up on this bathroom sink. And I put in there that I wanted the sink to creak, because it's supposed to be like an old raggedy little bathroom.
Creak.
Yeah, so I wanted the sound of like porcelain creaking, and I put the sound of porcelain creaking in parentheses as an SFX cue, because that's what in my head I was like, this would definitely happen if you're getting fucked up against a bathroom sink in this rinky-dink bar. That's gonna be it's gonna creak.
I'm so glad that whenever you're being intimate with somebody that you're just like, I wonder what this chair sounds like. Is it like, does it sound old?
There's been a couple times where like I've been in the throes of things and been like, why does my bed sound like that?
That'd be a great noise for an audio.
No, or like on the floor when I had a little townhouse apartment and things were happening on the floor, and I never knew that the floor creaked like this if you move over here. And then when I had hands-on learning, there's creaking happening on the floor. So
Do you put sound effects, like intimate sound effects, on your scripts as well? Like obviously the creaking and the, you know, from footsteps or whatever else, but do you put like clapping or like
so until recently I didn't say plapping, but I did say thrusting starts.
That's what I usually do.
Or like slick wet stroking or like wet noises. Like I did put like a SFX indicator that hey, wet sounds now.
I keep those pretty vague, because otherwise I'm like, this feels weird. I'm sending this to somebody.
That's how I feel every time I send it to someone. And I'm like, I know you like moan into a mic and everything for life, or like, you know, living.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to think about.
I keep it very high level and just like, you know what you're doing. You put them in, like, dealer's choice. Go for it.
Hey, I'm sending you the words. Now it's your turn to just like do your thing.
Right. I focus on the dialogue. Don't.
I did my part of the job. Now it's your turn. Lock in. Get to work.
But I do that like with a lot of the SFX in my scripts. Like, I'm here to write the dialogue, soundscape it how you want, like make it your own.
Right.
I think I'm too much of a control freak for that.
I'm not at all. I'm like, you change anything you want.
If you don't even like that line, actually, let me know.
Well, you're a bit of a perfectionist, Ruin, so you're like, how can I make it better? What do you not like? That's your opinion. Oh my goodness.
I mean, everybody says things differently. In my eyes, like, I'm giving you the general like vibe. Like, yeah, there's some key lines like, please say this like this, because this is like how I want it.
Just
but other like general like conversation things, like not everybody's gonna say things the way that you say them or the way that you write them. Right. I always encourage, like, if you need to change something for it to be more conversational for you, to kind of fit your voice, then please do it, because it's going to make the conversation in the audio sound more natural and realistic and less kind of stiff and scripted.
That's true. I feel like there's a certain like performative tone that some voice actors have that I've noticed on Quinn, where like they get into the throes of it and you're like, I know that you're putting on a fake bedroom voice. And the whole point, I feel like, of like audio erotica is for me to not think about how I know it's fake. I don't want to think about how you're sitting there moaning into your microphone right now, reading off of a Google Doc, or licking your hand, or making out with your I want it to sound as like as though I'm listening to this from the other room. You know what I mean? Or like, or not in the other room. I want it to be immersive, as if like I'm there, right? That's the reason for like the roleplay-esque almost scripts, right?
Right.
But when someone's like, yeah, don't you like that? Da, 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 da. I'm like, you don't sound like that. Come on, bro. That's not what you sound like.
Sound more natural.
Sound more natural. I think there's a couple of the like bigger voice actors on Quinn that I've noticed it with, and I'm like, how does no one have this same complaint that it doesn't sound genuine?
Because you're nitpicking, and
I'm not nitpicking.
You're viewing it from somebody that is actively writing for these people, so you're like, that could have been said better. You're like, like you're viewing it less of like, because whenever you're tuning into it as a listener, you're just like, oh, what tropes do I like? What's happening? Like, you're not really concerned with how certain lines come across because you're into it. You're like, oh yeah, this picking up, this is great.
We're about to get into the action.
We're not concerned about, the delivery of every single line and how it has to be perfect, unlike you two, because you both are, you're writers, so you see it differently. I also have another question. How do you guys kind of include diversity, like, in your scripts? Like, how are you choosing certain words that are acceptable for like all skin colors and all body types and everything like that? Do you have like trouble with doing that sometimes? Because I know it can be kind of hard as a writer to just be like, okay, how can I make this all inclusive for everybody that's listening? Is it kind of challenging for you guys, or is it come naturally?
It's kind of developed for me. A lot of it is there's just certain like actions and phrases to kind of steer away from, like blushing, and like if somebody's being spanked, not mentioning like their skin getting red, because that's not necessarily the case for everybody. So it's just kind of, and like hair pulling. Not everybody has hair that can be pulled. So it's just kind
Honestly,
of
that's
being
interesting.
conscientious of the actions and descriptors in your scripts, saying,
Mhm.
okay, like looking at it, like, is this something that can apply to the general population, or is somebody going to feel left out?
Right.
I think so. I'm obviously very new to the audio erotica space in general, very new to Quinn. And I am gonna be honest with my own like little shortcoming. Didn't really think about inclusivity as something to look out for, because I don't mention, I mean obviously like there it is, but I never mentioned skin color in a script, and I'd never thought to mention skin color in a script because I'm like, oh, everyone from every different background listens to this. I didn't think to mention hair in a script because
I
I
didn't
was
think
like,
of that one either. That's interesting.
I was like, I mean, not every girl likes their, where I was coming from it from was not every girl likes their hair pulled. You know what I mean? So I was thinking, oh, don't put this in here. To be fair, didn't really think about anyone who doesn't have hair or has too short of hair to pull until I'd had an informative discussion with Atlas about it. And he'd been like, no, you wanna avoid this. Same goes for blushing. I didn't know that blushing was how do I phrase this?
Non-inclusive word.
Know that blushing was a non-inclusive word, along with marking and stuff like that. I like to think that I try to be rather inclusive because I want everyone to enjoy what I'm writing, but I wasn't very informed and or educated when I started. So it's been very much a learn as I go, educate as I go kind of thing. And I will say in the Stargazers Discord, they have been very sweet to nicely educate or correct me. Atlas kind of corrects me if okay, that sounds bad. He like he kind of like educates me, like as we go about certain things.
Right.
But he put into a better perspective about how that could be non-inclusive and how it could hurt someone's feelings, and how that's not the goal of any of the scripts, which I agree with. The goal of the scripts, it's to make the listener feel good. It's for the listener. It's to cater to them, to their fantasies. We're selling them fantasies. So I'm still learning as I go, right? I'm not perfect. I'm sure there will be something else that I mess up along the way. But I feel like I take criticism. Okay, I don't want to say pretty well, but I think I take all right. I take it all right. I take it all right. If it's like about inclusivity, I feel like I take it rather well.
Right.
But only if it's not from certain people. Like if a certain person, like if like a good friend comes up to me and it's like, oh, bro, why did you say that? I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you on about? But like if like someone else, like just regular listener was like, hey, I don't like that you said this, I'd be like, oh, well, why don't you like that I said that? I'm sorry. What could I have said better? What would you like to hear? Versus if it's like a close friend coming up and correcting me, I'm like, bro, what are you on about? I'm trying to get better.
It makes it kind of a a fun challenge to think of things like, oh, this isn't as inclusive, like
Yeah, so,
blushing or like skin marking. Like, what
yeah,
could I do instead that's maybe even filthier? Or something
how,
else that's like really gonna like even
yeah.
hit
Get
harder,
the,
like a visual cue.
you don't want to say like, oh, you feel so tight, but you can be like, you feel like you were fucking made for me, kind of thing.
Yeah. Do I?
It's crazy.
My goodness. So, moving on to our next little segue here. What do you guys think, like, how would you define audio erotica? How do you feel like it would empower, do you feel like it empowers women more to kind of explore different fantasies in a safe space? Or, like, how would you guys define it?
Honestly, I do feel like it is a safe place to kind of explore something new. I know being in this community for so long, I've heard story after story of people like maybe being less experienced in anything sexual, that it's a safe place to explore things like maybe not even like an experience, just like curious about new kinks or something that they've never tried before. And it's a safe place to kind of dip their toes before having to actually like jump in with somebody and then maybe it's not for them and avoid that kind of awkward situation.
I think, kind of piggybacking off of what Brewy said, but also the fact that, in my opinion, women aren't as free to express their sexuality or what they're into in public or even in private as freely as guys kind of are. Being able to, I think that was my ADT chime, I'm sorry. Being able to kind of like freely, without judgment, you can look up I mean, what's something that you'd get judged for? You could look up male female audios on Quinn, which some people would look down upon. You can look up stuff from girls on Quinn. If you're a girl, you can find female for female stuff. I know Alice, right? She does female for female.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's
There's
very
quite a few girls that actually do female for female.
yeah. But like, I feel like it's a safer space for us to find, like Brie said, kind of find out what we're into, express what we're into, but also talk about it. I know in the Stargazers chat, we are very, sometimes feral, but very, very, very free in terms of talking about what we like, what we're into, which obviously the voice actor that's in there, inspo, for like what he's hearing from the mouths of his listeners, from these girls, what they like, what they're into, and there's quite a few people in there now, so he's like, oh, this is what like, this is a general thing that people are into. some of which seems like it has caught him as a guy off guard. He's like, wait, all of you are like masks, like a lot of the girls in there like masks. Not all of them, but a lot of them are into the whole mask kink thing, twin. But he was taken off guard by that, like he was like, I didn't think that was like an actual thing that a lot of people were into, which is fair. We don't really feel the safest to express, hey, we want you to put a mask on, because we don't necessarily feel safe enough to ask. Or like, I know some people are into knife play, and I think you can find stuff like that on Quinn too, that's like rougher BDSM-esque stuff. I know Dolph has BDSM-esque audio, and I think you mentioned someone else having one the other day.
Adam Craves, yeah.
He has one too.
I think all of the creators have had at least one. It's kind of
at least one
relative topic that women are really into.
Yeah.
Dark romance and all.
Dark romance and all that, which is, I feel like it takes a lot of guys by surprise. So I feel like this gives us like a space where we're more confident to talk about it. It's safer to talk about it. And like Brie said, we can kind of figure out what we're into, what we're not into. If you listen to an audio and they mention running a knife across your skin and you're not into that, you're like, DNF, I'm not finishing that. Versus if you realize, oh, I'm not against that, and you keep listening to it, and then you're like, oh, I kind of like that, then you're like, oh, new kink unlocked. It pops up at the top of your screen.
Oh my goodness. So do you have, like, I'm just thinking of questions. What is the, like, just lightning round? What kind of question, like, what is the strangest line that you have ever written? Or do you have any tropes that you don't really feel comfortable with writing as far as, being a writer, or just everything goes.
I'm not comfortable with writing pegging just because.
Same, but that's only because I don't feel I have enough knowledge
Enough
to write it
information.
accurately and safely.
Yeah, I don't think that I have enough knowledge, but also I would have to educate myself on it, and part of educating yourself on things like this is like, watching videos.
Pausing here real quick, actually, because I formatted the question really weird. So, like, everything else has been fantastic, but, like, the way I worded that question was awkward. So, we're taking it from the top real quick. Do you guys have any tropes as scriptwriters that you don't really feel comfortable with writing?
Tropes of script. Okay. I don't feel comfortable writing older woman, younger guy trope. Not that I'm against it. You go, girl. But I've never been into a younger guy, and I pull a lot of my stuff from, like, my own personal inspiration and or thoughts. So I wouldn't know how to write in a hot, sexy way that people would want to listen to. Older girl, younger guy.
Yeah. Brewy, do you have anything?
I don't think.
Brewy's like anything goes.
Yeah. If I come up with an idea and I like it, I'll do it.
So have you been approached by people, like, asking you to make scripts, or have you always just been, hey, I like this guy's voice, let me see if I could script write for him?
It's been a little of both for me.
Both.
I've been approached by a handful of voice actors that aren't on Quinn, that have, like, slid into my DMs before I went to an anonymous account, and that's part of the reason why I went to an anonymous account, was because I was getting approached by a lot of rather forward, almost creepy guys about script writing and sexual fantasies and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, suddenly I don't want my face put anywhere.
Yeah.
And I will say, since I took my face away from Ruin, it hasn't happened.
Yeah. I hate to hear that, though. I'm very glad that we have, like, Atlas has a safe space to kind of interact with girls, or, like, his listeners in a very, like, more professional sense and more like a friendly sense, rather than us just like, you're a guy, let me just hop on you. Like, it's very like respectful and he's
respectful. We bully him.
Well, okay, yes.
It's a very cozy and welcoming community.
Yes, it's a good community. But that is very interesting, because I didn't think about script writers also having that issue, being reached out to in a non-professional.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's usually by accounts that focus on rambles, and it's so strange because they will have almost no scripts posted on their account, and it's just like them
How do you write
doing their thing. Yeah, no, you don't. That's the point. It's just them doing their thing, and then they slide into your DMs, and they're like asking you questions about scripts, and then the questions turn into, so what are your sexual fantasies? What are you into? Do you like to write about what you're into? And I'm like, dude, get the fuck out. Get off of me.
Brewery, have you had any experiences that you're comfortable with sharing?
I've had countless people slide into my DMs under the guise of wanting a script, but really they just want somebody to talk dirty to. But it's, unfortunately, as somebody who is not anonymous and my face is out there, it gets a little awkward sometimes, but that's what the block button's for.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there you
That's
go. Report, block.
Blocked, reported, banned.
Yeah. That is such a truth, though. But I am glad that we have a good space, and then I hope that many other creators too that are anonymous, I hope they find a good place to interact with listeners, because it does make a big difference. It really does.
This just turned into a Stargazers ad.
Join the Stargazers.
Fuck PlapCast.
Well,
No,
we have to recognize our origin story. Okay.
Right. That's where we all came from.
We're supposed to talk about the origin of Plappy, our mascot.
Yes.
With Atlas and his interview.
Yep.
The Plapitrator.
It had all started, for those who don't know the story. We were speaking with Atlas, and he wanted to get the lady's opinion on certain sound effects that are used during sex and during other sexual areas. He had asked what if we preferred, noises or no noises, and he was like, "What are your Plap opinions or your plapinions. And it just kind of spiraled from there. It got worse, and we all shared our opinions, and then it turned into a mascot, and that I
Turned into a mascot. She means that she drew the mascot.
Yes.
Plapinion
Yes.
inspired
You
her to draw
created
Plappy.
I did
Breeze over
create
that
Flappy.
fact.
Flappy. I had the honor to create something that people love in the Discord, and that's never happened to me. Obviously, I'm an artist, but I'm not well known. So whenever I created something that was so well loved, it really meant a lot to me, and I'm glad that we get to, even if he is just a little ween, that we get to use
A
him.
little ween. And you can't
Little
forget
ween.
Punani.
But yes, Punani too. We got Little Ween, Big Dreams, and I don't know what to use for Punani.
Punani doesn't have a lot of lore yet.
Yes, she
Punani,
is too.
for the listeners, is a little, what is she, like the labia majora and minora and a clit
She's a Punani. That's all you gotta know.
with a IUD as a crossbow.
Yes, I did draw her with an IUD. that was suggested. And so,
So
thank you, Rui.
Plappy, our mascot, one of the emojis, like emoticons that we have for him, is he's holding a little knife. And we were like, oh, we need something equally as violent. And I think it was Brewy who was like, what about an IUD?
IUD cross. I mean, that's pretty threatening.
And then someone, how do you say her name? I know her as Wayfarer.
Maravane. Yeah.
She wrote a poem for Plappy that Atlas posted on TikTok and Instagram. You guys can go listen to it. It's a hilarious. Yeah, we'll work it in at some point. But that's what he said. So no, it's a hilarious little poem, and we'll have one for Punani too. She doesn't have any lore yet, and Plappy has so much lore.
We're workshopping it.
We're workshopping it for sure. But I think on this list of questions here is also what is the weirdest line you've written. But I want to know mainly what Brewy's weirdest line was.
I don't remember the exact line, but it was in Cop Part 2. Adrian was in the middle of saying something, and the listener shuts him up by sitting on his face. My favorite thing I've ever written.
Sounds great.
The script that I'm referencing hasn't come out yet, but the premise of it is that you and an older guy go on a picnic. But the guy is supposed to sound older. Now, I am not an older man, so I had no clue what the things that an older man would say to flirt. So I was like asking friends to ask their husband, hey, or like asking like friends when you've been out with an older guy, what are things that he said? What are cringy things that he has said? Asking older guys that I know, like what are your pickup lines and stuff like that. So it was just really, really strange to try and authentically write an older guy, because I've never been out with an older guy, so I don't know, I wouldn't know. And I think it came off fine. He makes a joke about how over prepared she is and tries to like hint like how eager she is, but it's not in like the cute, oh you're so eager way. It's like in the, oh you're an eager beaver, like kind of thing.
You're an eager beaver. So I do have some silly questions just to wrap us up here. What is the strangest place you have ever gotten inspiration?
I'm not in a lot of strange places.
You never just like at your grandma's house and then inspiration just slaps you in the face. You're like, oh, I gotta write that down. You don't have anything?
I swear mine's always when I'm driving. Like
always when you're driving.
It's always when I get an idea, and I of course can't write it down because I'm driving.
Actually, I got one last night when I was out on my hike.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
My hike after dark.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, I heard a clown horn out there. That was scary. But before that, I was like, oh, this would be an interesting little script.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure someone else has already done that, though. I think Run by Dolph was...
I think a few people have. I wrote one and sold it, but I don't know if it'll ever see the light of day.
Oh, that
hopefully
was
it does someday.
Amanda's over here fangirling about Run by Dolph.
That one was fantastic. That's all I gotta say. Dolph, you're great. Can't wait to have you on the podcast, buddy. He told us maybe next year. Okay, we got high hopes. Okay, we got high hopes.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, I have other questions. Do you guys have a sexy playlist or something to help you Writing. Ruin just instantly says yes. Yes. Yes,
I did.
Oh my
I've talked
goodness.
about this in the Stargazer server before, but I'm a weirdo and I like silence when I write because I
Okay.
like to
It's so
focus
strange.
You're a
on
psychopath.
the dialogue and the conversation.
Mhm.
And I feel like the words don't flow as well if I'm being distracted by music. So I like silence when I'm
That makes
writing.
sense, yeah.
I am always, if I'm writing, I'm always listening to some form of classical. Even when I'm like writing like my books, I'm listening to some form of classical music like playlist that I play for script writing. And it's because I can't listen to words as I'm writing. Words distract me. So like I can't put on Marvin Gaye or The Weeknd or anything like that because then
Mhm.
they're gonna say something and I'm gonna accidentally write it. Versus classical, there's no words in it, but it still gets like that kind of
It's
emotion
just writing
going.
smut to
So,
Mozart.
no, I have like this little playlist on Spotify and it's like my sensual classical music and then I put that on to script write.
It's classical music. That's just so funny to me. Well, I heard people do that to like study, so there you go. That works.
I would like to state to the class though that it's not like a Mozart or anything. I think some of the songs on there are actually from Bridgerton and then
Even better.
some of
Other
them
musical
are
songs.
like one of them is by a Nost and it's literally called Active Demon or the Work of God. It's
Lovely.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's Regency vibes. I like it.
I'll have to show
Yeah,
you
I
sometime.
like it. I like it. So, do you guys have any pet peeves on your scripts? Like anything that you're like that you hate adding?
I wouldn't say that I have a pet peeve on like anything that I dislike adding, but I will say since Atlas has kind of like taken off in the way that he has, I have had people approach and ask me for script advice or ask me to look over their scripts, and I think I have two, and one of them is like this a straight like get out of my face, I'm not answering any more of your questions. And one of them is just like I don't like reading this. What the first one is like a get out of my sight is AI. And oh my god.
Yes.
Why
Oh, yeah.
is it everywhere? Why can I not escape it? Someone approached me and asked me to look over their scripts. And I was like, I'm gonna keep it $150 with you, homie. I can tell that this whole entire where is the human in this? This was all robot.
Where's the human?
There was, and I told her that, and I was like, hey man, I get it. You know, you've never done it before, but like, just don't do this.
Don't do this.
Told her
Humble
it.
beginnings.
She sent it back, and it was also AI, but like with
Mm.
more humanish formatting. And I was like,
Gross.
so I'm just not going to respond to you.
Yeah.
And that has happened. That it wasn't just that one girl. Oh, she's listening. I'm sorry. It wasn't just that one girl though. It's been like I think at this point 12 people that have asked me to look over their script. I look it over and I'm like, so did you write this or ChatGPT?
That is so interesting. I'm surprised.
And then
Well, I guess I'm not surprised. People are getting
Oh.
money for the scripts. I guess I could see people trying to
Yeah.
fake script.
Yeah, but like, yeah, we get paid for scripts, but we're not getting like crazy money from. I mean, Brewy, are you getting crazy money for scripts? Yeah, I want to say like
Side hustle.
it's not. I think the like going rate right now for script writers is like it's 25% of the voice actor's takeaway. So if you bag a voice actor like Noble, I'm sure he makes bank off of his audios. So you'd
100%.
obviously make more from the 25% working with him than you would with a newer voice actor like Adam Craves. Not saying that I know how much Adam makes, I don't. But like he's newer, so I'm just assuming that
it's different for everybody.
yeah, they all have different rates.
Popularity.
They all have different rates. He has a different listening base. I would probably make less writing for Adam than I would for Noble because the sliding scale of 25%.
Yeah.
But it's not
And
something that you
honestly-
need to sit there and scam your way through.
Right.
Just open a Google Doc.
Like I have a day job that pays all my bills. I'm not worried about money. I'm purely in
It's
it for
just
the
a
love
fun
of the
side
game.
hustle.
So this is the fun of the game.
It's all for the love of the game, and at this point, like I don't care. Like it's not about the money for me. Like if that's your intent going into this, don't.
I was gonna say if the money is why just avoid it. If you think that I feel like I've run into this too, Brie, and I don't know if you have. Some girls, I've noticed, will try to approach voice actors with scripts thinking that they can get close to said voice actor if they work with them.
That's always going to be, I think, an issue in this community, just because that the parasocial thing is kind of so rampant in this community that people are going to pursue, if they're determined enough, they're going to pursue any avenue they think potentially can get them closer to a voice actor.
Yeah, very true.
Which I think is a big problem with like us that are like legitimate professional writers in this community. It makes it hard for us because it's making it harder and harder for us to be able to contact these voice actors because they have all their stuff so locked down that you can't even get in touch with them.
Yeah, you're like, I can't even audition because
right.
That's
Sally
awful,
Sue down the road ruined it for everybody.
Sally Sue. Well, I think it's also really important as well because I mean you, Ruin, and Brewy have both worked with Atlas, so you guys know him like as far as like in a professional sense. But I'm sure he would be able to reach out to other voice actors and be like, "Hey, I know 2 writers that are, great." That's why it's really like in this community, it's so important to network and to just kind of like have like a friend of a friend or like have people kind of validate you as well because it is really easy to be mistook for somebody that has ill intentions when you're
definitely listed Atlas as a reference.
Yeah.
For when I've like tried to write for other people because I want them to know, hey, I'm not a crazy stalker.
It does make it easier once you have work out there that you can be like, hey, I am legitimately like doing the thing.
Yeah.
Please don't just ignore me.
I did catch a lucky break coming into the space with Atlas instead of like on my own. Thank God. If I came into the space on my own, I'd probably still be stuck in the void, just sending scripts out at people. Which is another reason why, like Brewy said, if you're coming into this space looking for money, this is not where to get your money. I think a lot of my scripts I end up giving for free because like the first time I write for someone, I don't want to charge them for it. They've never written or they've never voiced for me before. So the first time you write for someone, they're like you're learning their voice and they're learning your writing voice. So it's like, it's your first time together. You know what I mean? You got to take it slow.
Gotta take it slow. Well, the relationship between a voice actor and a writer is really important because it's, I mean, like we had briefly spoke about, it's about being immersed into the space. So it's important that you both have a good enough relationship to where whatever you write, that your actor would be able to accurately, put your character out there for all to hear. So
I think it's definitely important to be able to be friendly with the voice actor. I wouldn't say that I would necessarily want to be friends with the voice actors, just because part of it is still awkward, or at least in my opinion it is, because we are writing about sex. We're writing about fucking. We're not just fucking, we're selling you a story, we're selling you a fantasy. So part of that is we both have to get into the head happening in this moment. The voice actor is going, what would I sound like in this moment? What sounds the most authentic? What kind of tone should I take right now? And then if they edit their own stuff, then they're like, oh, what would sound good right here? If they send it off to an editor, then the editor's listening to them moan into a mic and being like, I need to add plaps here. I need to add kissing here. I need to add footsteps here. And then as the writer, you're writing down, if you already have a voice actor in mind, then you're writing down what you think they would sound best doing. If you don't have a voice actor in mind, then you're trying to write down what you think a majority of voice actors could sound good doing.
Right.
I think getting too friendly with a voice actor in this kind of work would be a slippery slope that you wouldn't want to go down. So it's important to remain kind of professional, but not with me and Brewy though. I love Brewy. Brewy, have my babies.
I love you too.
Of course, you can be friendly and still have professionalism. I mean, that's really what our server is.
Yeah. But we're not going to sit there and be like, be my BFF. What's your favorite color? Actually, we probably would ask what the favorite color is just to be a dickhead. We're not going to be like, tell us your life story right now.
Tell us your life story, or else. Yeah.
Yeah, or else.
But yeah, wrapping up, basically the goal of the podcast is just to kind of get the behind the scenes of everything in the audio erotica space, like script writing, editing, voice acting, just basically everything that kind of makes the space immersive for our listeners. So it'll be fun to just kind of get to interview VAs. We have quite a few people that are interested in speaking with us.
We have all of November and halfway through December booked.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think we can put any more in December because of the holidays. So we're going into January now.
December's pretty full.
Which we're so thankful for, by the way.
Yes,
because this is our first episode, and we already have so many people on the lineup, and I'm like, oh my god.
Exciting.
I know next episode is the Plapatrator, where
we got
the
Atlas
man,
coming,
the man, the myth, the legend himself is coming in. Obviously you can find us on YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok eventually. We should have it by the time this comes out on Friday. We might not, but we will have TikTok soon. It's PlapCast on everything. We also, don't be afraid to leave a comment asking questions that you want us to ask.
Please don't be shy.
On Fridays, which is also Quinn Drop Day. For those who don't know, they drop Tuesdays and Fridays. So listen to us after you listen to your favorite little voice actor.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you listening, and we're excited for this adventure that we're going to go on together. Thank you so much. It was very fun to speak to you guys, and I know this is just our introduction, but it'll be a fun ride. We get to interview quite a lot of people. So
I'm excited.
It'll be super fun. Yeah, it'll be exciting. Oh, good. I guess we could stop it there.
Yeah. All right.